The story of Amazon's empire is a perplexing one. On the one hand, it's killed off scores of bookstores, threatened almost every sector of small business retail, gotten its hands into everything from logistics to music to cloud services, and it's not stopping there. On the other hand, consumers have fallen in love with their low prices, convenience, along with the new standard of 2-day free shipping, which is sometimes even same-day shipping. And, let's not forget, they're putting out Emmy award-winning TV and Oscar-winning movies as well. So how did all this start? Back in 1994, a 30-year-old former high school valedictorian named Jeff Bezos was working at D.E. Shaw, a prominent hedge fund. One day while at the computer, he found a site that said the internet was growing at 2,300% a year. Up to that point, the internet was mostly used by the government and academics, but Bezos saw a game-changing opportunity: e-commerce. He started with a list of 20 potential mail-order products and landed on books. This is because the internet had a big advantage on mail-order catalogs. That is, it's actually possible to list all of the books on the internet without spending millions creating catalogs the size of a New York City phone book. With that in mind, he founded Amazon.com in Bellevue, Washington, in his garage, giving the fledgling business just a 30% chance of success. The company debuted officially in 1995, and the very first book sold was Douglas Hofstadter's Fluid Concepts and Creative Analogies, Computer Models of the Fundamental Mechanisms of Thought. The choice of book would illustrate Amazon's genius concept, making everything, even the most niche of books, easy to find. Initial results were promising. Within just 2 months, sales at Amazon had reached $20,000 per week. In 1997, on May 15th, the company debuted on NASDAQ, going public at $18 per share. Amazon's early filings back then detailed a strategy that would mark its next 14 years. Quote, "The company believes that it will incur substantial operating losses for the foreseeable future." In other words, Bezos and his company were all in. Amazon survived the dot-com bust of the 90s, which happened to kill off a lot of its competition, and by the end of 2001, it had made its very first profit, $5 million or 1 cent per share. The proof of concept had paid off. But Wall Street's irritation with the company's earnings would continue to be a recurring theme for Amazon. In 2013, Amazon earned way less than it had 5 years before, but it had tripled its sales. The company's lack of interest in profits and singular focus on growth led one commentator to call it, quote, "a charitable institution being run for the benefit of consumers." Bezos took issue with that, noting that he was taking a much longer view than irritated Wall Street analysts or other doubters. Investors, however, have seemed willing to stay the course, and Bezos himself probably has a lot to do with that. In fact, Bezos' unique persona has driven the perception of Amazon's peculiar strategy, especially in its early days. Part of that had to do with his image. Despite being a digital company, he makes everyone on his senior team read a 6-page memo in silence on a topic before even discussing it in a meeting, a far cry from the standard corporate PowerPoint. Another part of it has to do with how he approaches things. For example, one time Bezos had a breakfast with the CEO of a company he was going to buy. When asked why he was interested in the company, Bezos compared it to an octopus that was on the menu. "When I look at the menu," he said, "you're the thing I don't understand, the thing I've never had. I must have the breakfast octopus." While some questioned Bezos' strategy with Amazon, others saw his quirkiness as a visionary who could think outside the box. In retrospect, it makes sense. Look how the company has innovated. A lot of the stuff that you probably take for granted as standard practices for e-commerce actually started with Amazon. It popularized product reviews and email verification for orders, and it expanded offerings far past books. One of the most important innovations, besides being another bet on thin profit margins, was the introduction of free Super Saver shipping. In other words, Amazon was giving out free shipping for orders over $99, and consumers bought in. In 2005, Amazon added a twist to its business model when it launched Amazon Prime. The deal was simple: free 2-day shipping in the lower 48 states for just $79 a year. This is something that would prove pivotal to the company's strategy to get consumers to go all in on its business model. Soon after, the company launched Fulfilled by Amazon, which was something that blended third-party sales and Amazon's own sales by lending sellers the company's massive infrastructure. This third-party selling is the key to Amazon's business model, turning the company from an online store into a platform. For all of these business model innovations, more and more people became convinced that Jeff Bezos was playing a serious game of corporate chess. And look what happened. Do you see any Borders bookstores anymore? Any Virgin megastores? Tower Records? Circuit Cities? It's hard to say that Amazon killed them, but there's no doubt that it was a factor. In 2007, Amazon launched its first major hardware product, the Amazon Kindle, going back to its bookish roots. Just 3 years later, ebook sales on the platform had eclipsed hardcover sales for the first time. The mid-2000s were also an incredibly pivotal time for the company, in many ways that people don't realize. This was when it dramatically invested in its B2B platform, rolling out its web services, Simple Storage Service or S3, along with other services which eventually evolved into its cloud computing giant AWS, or Amazon Web Services. By the early 2010s, Amazon had started to double down on its multimedia services, releasing Amazon Music and eventually Amazon Instant Video, its service for Prime. At the same time, it released the Kindle Fire, an inexpensive tablet and an easy way to get more people into its product ecosystem. That hardware was mildly successful, except for maybe the failed Fire phone, but nothing compared to the Echo and Alexa, which launched in 2014 as the very first voice assistant that was actually well received. It also represented innovation in how people buy stuff, which Amazon pioneered through dash buttons, one-click buying, which Amazon actually has a patent for, subscriptions, and more. This innovation also flowed into other parts of the e-commerce experience through Amazon lockers, access points, drone experimentation, and even going into people's homes. And for all of Amazon's reputation as an online giant, the company made a huge bet in the real-life retail space by getting directly into the supermarket business and paying $13.7 billion to buy Whole Foods in 2017. At this point, it seemed like the sky was the limit for Amazon, but not everything was perfect. The company's innovation has ventured into some more peculiar realms with patents for wristbands that track worker moves and cage-like enclosures. The latter example was actually for worker protection in warehouses, and Amazon has said that even bad ideas get submitted for patents. But the outrage over them stems from very real problems that Amazon has had with labor. Articles have cited no air conditioning in 100-degree weather without fresh air, intense physical demands and difficult targets, and non-compete clauses for workers preventing them from getting jobs that competed with Amazon, which may be kind of everything. Even in the white-collar, non-warehouse part of the company, a 2015 report had one employee saying, quote, "Nearly every person I worked with, I saw cry at their desk." To its credit, and in response to years of criticism, Amazon announced in 2018 that it would be paying all US and UK employees a $15 per hour minimum wage, although it eliminated stock awards and bonuses for many employees. At the same time, however, Amazon did promise to lobby federally for a $15 an hour minimum wage. Labor hasn't been the only black eye. The company has also been derided for swarming with fake reviews, hosting counterfeit goods, selling Holocaust denial books, eavesdropping on people via echo devices, not paying enough sales tax, and being accused of, falsely but loudly by Donald Trump, ruining the USPS. And in 2018, Amazon announced plans to open a second headquarters, HQ2, which led countless mayors and governors to lay gifts of tax benefits and outrageous statements of enthusiasm at Jeff Bezos' feet. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo even said he would rename himself Amazon Cuomo if it helped the cause. Many cities got their hopes up, but in the end, New York and the DC metropolitan area won, after securing big tax breaks that sparked even more controversy, since Amazon is one of the most valuable and successful companies. Despite all of its growing pains, the vision of Jeff Bezos has always been clear: be obsessed with the customer. Whatever customers need, Amazon wants to be the one to provide it, which is why we are seeing Amazon throwing so much at the wall just to see what sticks. In a sense, this strategy means Amazon has a finger in pretty much everything, putting pressure on almost every facet of consumer-facing businesses, and more. Throughout its almost 25-year run, it's been hard to know exactly where the company is going. But one thing has been clear from Bezos' strategy from the outset that provides a pretty good idea. This is perhaps the most ambitious company in American history.